Hello travelers! I usually don't make videos this long, but over the past few days, we've received a ton of exciting new information about version 5.2. So, instead of making several short videos, I decided to compile everything into one video, so you won't have to hunt down different pieces of information across multiple videos. Now that we have all the confirmed details about what's coming in 5.2, this is the perfect time to dive into all the exciting features in the upcoming patch. I still remember when everyone thought 5.2 would be a filler patch because it doesn't have an Arcane quest. But shortly after, a huge amount of leaks dropped, revealing there's actually a massive amount of content coming in 5.2. Anyway, enough yapping, let's not waste any more time and dive into all the new content and changes coming in version 5.2. I've also included chapters below, so you can easily find what you're most excited about without having to go through the entire video. Starting off with a new map expansion. In 5.2, we're getting a map expansion in the northwest side of Natlan. At first glance, it may look a little smaller, but if you take a closer look, it's actually bigger than the one we got in 5.0. This is because it contains water areas that make the map seem smaller visually, but it's actually bigger. Besides that, we're also getting 2 new tribes, each with their own rewards, reputation systems, and stunning cities that are absolutely mesmerizing. Along with these new tribes, we're also getting 2 new Saurians from their respective tribes, adding more exploration mechanics. Both of these Saurians seem to have flying abilities, and can share similar exploration mechanics with their tribe characters, like Chaska and Ororon. For instance, it is similar to how Kinich and Milani share same mechanics based on their tribe's Saurians. On top of that, we're also getting a new boss called Tenebris Pilla in 5.2. If you're thinking this is just an ordinary boss, consider thinking again, as this boss is no joke for casual players, as it requires strategy and effort to defeat it. It can even deal damage when your character is shielded, meaning Daddy Zhongli's shield support might not be as effective here. Also, the boss can transform itself into different forms, making it look pretty terrifying. I've personally named it the Ghost because of its shape-shifting abilities, as it can shape-shift itself into different world bosses. Now, let's talk about some of the new features in 5.2. This time, it seems we're getting a major upgrade to the treasure compass. If you're familiar with the treasure compass, you know it usually only shows the location of chests. But in 5.2, the treasure compass will also show the location of hidden chests, sealies, and trial challenges. So no more endlessly searching for hidden chests and challenges. Also, fishing is making a return in Natlan, and I'm really excited about this. Now, before you think, how can fishing be an exciting activity? Well, I agree with that. But this time, it's not just fishing. We're getting a whole new online fishing system. And on top of that, we can also do fishing in co-op. And you know what that means, more endgame content and rewards. Now, knowing Hoyoverse for quite a while, I'm expecting the reward system for online fishing to be similar to TCG and the Serenity Teapot. So no monthly refresh, but a one-time reward. But I'm glad at least we're getting something. Also, I was kind of disappointed after noticing that Hoyoverse was removing things from the game. Like in Fontaine, they removed the reward domain that gives 40 primogems each. And then in Natlan, they didn't show fishing. But it seems I was wrong because it's actually coming in 5.2. Here's a picture of the new enemies, wildlife, and fish coming in 5.2. Now, let's move on to the new characters, weapons, and events coming in 5.2. As for the characters, we're getting 2 new characters in the first phase, Chaska and Ororon. For the rear-end character, it's said to be Linny. On the other hand, in the second phase of version 5.2, we're expecting Zhongli as the Arcane rear-end, followed by Neuvillette. It looks like Hoyoverse is really going hard on us with the Phase 2 banners, 2 dragons back to back. This lineup is definitely going to make it tough for players to decide who to pull for, especially with so many fan favorites in one patch. Aside from that, this banner lineup has been confirmed by many reliable sources, and we should see similar results during the live stream as well. Moving on to the new event, the next flagship event of 5.2 is expected to take place in Natlan, and Wanderer is going to be the main highlight of the event. And yes, he's still in the event, but that doesn't mean he's going to have a rerun here. since Neuvillette is confirmed to have his rerun in this patch. Also, the event will reward us with a new sword called Calamity of the Blighted Springs. It has a base attack of 27.6%, and its passive increases both normal and charged attack damage by 20% at Refinement 1, going up to 40% at Refinement 5. If the character is shielded, it increases crit rate by 8% at Refinement 1 and 16% at Refinement 5, making it perfect for DPS characters. Now, let's discuss the other two weapons. The first one is a bow called Flower Wreath Feathers, which has a base attack of 510 and a substat that gives 41.3% attack at level 90. Its passive increases charged attack damage by 6% at Refinement 1, up to 12% at Refinement 5. It also decreases gliding stamina consumption by 15%, making it a suitable F2P weapon for characters like Chaska. Then there's Wave Riding Whirl, which gives 454 base attack and 61.3% energy as a substat. Its passive reduces swimming stamina consumption by 15%, which will be useful for exploration. Now for the local legend. We're getting a new Ruin Drake in 5.2, which might remind you of Sumeru's version Ruin Drake. But don't misunderstand it with the Sumeru one, as it can ruin you pretty easily after it puts on his resistance. This one will appear in the new map in 5.2. Also from 5.2, you can do story recap or story replay before moving to the next story or Archon quest. This feature will not implement on event stories. With that, it's also said that we'll be seeing a skip button for character stories and the Archon quest. Now, I personally think that this feature might not be the best addition to the game, as it could ruin the overall experience. If you remember when we saw Farina leaks, everyone thought she'd be a pretty basic character with a decent appearance. But what happened next? She became the most beloved and praised Archon, all because of the story. Now my point is that the narrative plays a major role in how characters are introduced and appreciated, so I don't believe adding a skip button will be beneficial, although it hasn't been confirmed if this feature will be used in the main quest or quest replay. I personally think the button will only be available for story replays, allowing players to skip particular replay scenes that are not essential. Also, as I'm making this video, we've just received some new information about Mauvika and the Traveler's Kit, so why not take a look at that as well? This time, the source is HXG. According to them, Mauvika's elemental skill has different modes. When you press or tap her elemental skill, she throws her weapon and enters in the Night Soul's blessing state. Also, while in combat, if you press or tap her elemental skill instead of holding it, the weapon changes into a sun torch and throws fireballs. On the other hand, if you hold her elemental skill, she runs to the target, slashes, and enters in fusion state, then swings her weapon, punching and generating waves. Keep in mind that this only occurs in combat. If you're not in combat, holding her elemental skill crushes the weapon into pieces and turns it into a motorcycle as her exploration ability. On top of that, she can jump on the motorcycle, and it changes into a glider when she's in the air. I swear, if this turns out to be true, every F2P player will have to switch to dolphin mode to get her. Seriously, Genshin is literally making it harder day by day. Now I know we said we need more, but not that much, especially in such a limited time frame. First, we got Chaska, then Neuvillette and Zhongli in the same patch, and now Mauvika in 5.3 with her broken kit and exploration mechanics. Anyway, let's talk about Mauvika's elemental burst. It grants a bit of Night Soul and interruption resistance. And by interruption resistance, I can see why they say Mauvika is similar to Dea, since Dea also provides interruption resistance. So, I guess that's why they're comparing Mauvika's kit to Dea's. Plus, there's a basic attribute boost, making everyone on the team glitter with rainbows as Mauvika uses her elemental burst. Mauvika is both a DPS and support character, and her constellations make her DPS state even stronger as they increase in number. Now, let's take a look at the Pyro Traveler Kit. According to HXG, when you press the Traveler's elemental skill, it triggers an explosion once. When you press their elemental burst, a floating cannon is summoned. The cannon shoots fireballs and stacks layers to increase attack, suggesting that the Pyro Traveler is going to be a buffer, as mentioned in earlier leaks. And that's a wrap for today's video. with all the exciting content coming in version 5.2, along with the new characters and exploration mechanics. There's definitely a lot to look forward to. I hope this video helped give you a clear overview of what to expect. And as always, I'll keep you updated with more details as they emerge. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.